I smelled the smoke before I saw the lights. My lodge, my sanctuary, was glowing with someone else's laughter, the kind that didn't belong here. I climbed the last step, boots crushing the frost, only to find my sister framed in the doorway like she'd been expecting. She looked me up and down with that venomous smirk she used to save for strangers who inconvenienced her. "What do you want, parasite? I'll call the police." I didn't blink. I didn't flinch, that I just stepped past her like she was a piece of furniture in the wrong spot. "Go ahead," I said, brushing against her shoulder. "If you can." Her face drained, and in that instant, before she understood why, I watched the first crack spread through her world, and it felt like justice humming under my skin. People assume betrayal begins with a blow, but mine began with softness, with trust, with the kind of loyalty that makes you blind. My sister Mira wasn't always venom. She used to be the one person I believed would never turn on me. Younger by 3 years, quieter, leaning in me like I was a pillar she intended to grow against. After our parents died, I kept her afloat. Rent, college, the wedding, she insisted be small but elegant. I signed checks like signing love letters. Stupid maybe, but it felt good to give her a life she could stand in. Her husband, Daniel, mirrored that gratitude at first. Polite, warm, too warm, I would later realize, the kind of warmth that melts locks instead of keeping houses safe. They loved my lodge, told everyone it was our retreat, that I thought it was harmless pride. I thought it was family weaving itself closer. But love, I learned, is a quiet stage where betrayal rehearses. It started with a notice from the local property board. Routine, harmless, until I saw the signature at the bottom. Not mine. A transfer request. Bold, clean, forged. I studied the replication of my handwriting like examining a corpse with me face. Mara's touch was all over it. She used to copy my cursive as a kid, practicing until she could match me stroke for stroke. She'd always said it was because she admired me. Turns out she admired the benefits. Other things followed. Utility bills rerouted, locks changed, my name on tax documents quietly replaced by Daniel's. Like I was being erased one keystroke at a time. I didn't panic. I didn't confront her. I simply archived every piece of evidence, and let silence do the thinking for me. There's a moment when heartbreak hardens into purpose. Mine came the night I drove to the county office and requested the parcel logs myself. The clerk hesitated. Identity theft cases always make them uneasy, but she gave me everything. And there it was, a full transfer attempt of the property to my sister and her in-laws. Months in motion, hidden behind forged approvals and fabricated abandonment claims. They wanted me out of my life entirely. And they almost pulled it off. Almost. Because people who think they're clever rarely expect silence. They expect yelling, chaos, threats. They never expect quiet compliance. They never notice the person taking notes in the back row. By the time I hired the attorney, the lodge was already legally firewalled, ownership reinstated, forged signatures flagged, a restraining clause prepared like a blade waiting to be drawn. All I needed was for them to step into the light. When I arrived at the lodge that night, I didn't announce anything. Let them greet me with insults, threats, bravado. Let them believe I was still the accommodating sibling who'd hand over anything for family harmony. Daniel stumbled into the living room in flannel pants, holding a beer like he lived here. His mother glared from the leather sofa I bought, and Mira, oh Mira, hovered behind them like a general who knew her army was about to be outmatched, but didn't understand why. "What are you doing here?" she snapped. "Checking on my property," I replied. Her mother-in-law scoffed. "This isn't yours anymore." I pulled the envelope from my coat and placed it gently on the coffee table. "Funny," I said. "My lawyer disagrees." They opened at it. They read. Their faces collapsed in perfect sequence. Denial, confusion, panic. The documents laid everything bare. Forged signatures, criminal liability, eviction notices, the restraining order pending activation. Mira's voice finally cracked. "You wouldn't do this to family." "You did," I said softly. "I'm just returning the gesture." When the sheriff's department knocked 30 minutes later, because yes, I'd called them before stepping out of me car, Mira looked at me like I had become someone she no longer recognized. She was right. They were escorted out one by one, grabbing coats, shoes, dignity, whatever they could carry. Daniel tried to argue. His father shouted. Mira cried. None of it mattered. They left the lodge in the same frostbitten darkness I'd walked in from, except the cold didn't bite me the same way. It felt cleansing. I stood in the living room after they were gone, the silence settling like dust over a battlefield. Their mugs were still warm, their laughter still clinging to the air, but the space felt mine again. Not because of paperwork or law enforcement, but because I took it back with clarity, not rage. Revenge wasn't the point. Restoration was. And as I locked the door behind me, I realized something. I didn't just get my lodge back. I got myself back. And that was the part Mira never saw coming.